Hello everyone, this is James Shore with another test-driven JavaScript video. It is July 11th, 2012, and picking up where we left off in the last video, just getting the very first steps towards getting our tests going. At the end of the last episode, we talked about which test framework we wanted to use, and I said I was going to start with Node.Unit and potentially move to Mocha. Let's go ahead and see if we can get Node.Unit running. To do that, let's make a let's make a new target in our build file to run our tests. So we're going to want to have our default do a lint and a test, and then here we'll test everything. Okay, so our test goes here. So as I said, let's start with Node.Unit. Get that installed. The other reason I'm interested in Mocha over Node.Unit is that it is being updated. Mocha is being updated really rapidly. If you look in GitHub, Node.Unit was last updated 4 months ago, and Mocha was last updated 17 hours ago as of when I checked. So Mocha does have a lot of promise to it. I just have some concerns about it. For example, when I looked into it, the default BDD assertion framework, which was a should framework, literally could not be linted, and the author of Mocha didn't seem to see that as a problem. So I have concerns about the long-term stability of Mocha. So we've got Node.Unit going, or we have it installed. Now let's run it. That won't lint either, but we can do it that way. Default's a keyword. And there. That's just following their recipe. Okay, it's saying ENOENT. I think that means they can't find the directory. So let's just make that directory temporarily and run the test again. Okay, so we've got basic tests running. Now let's see if we can get an actual test going. So what I want to do is, I like keeping my tests in the same file or in the same directory as the thing they're testing. And the reason is I just find it easier to find them that way. And I use the underscore to sort them to the top. Let's write a little test. Let's see. How does that work again? Okay. So we want to see that run. Of course, it's Not going to run just yet. 0 assertions. It's not going to run just yet because we are not pointing to it in our Jake file. So let's see if we can do that. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. And then the way Node Unit works, you have to tell the test that it's done. And there we go. Okay, so, and then if we turn this to false, perfect. Okay, so we've got our first running test. Now I'd like to change this over to use the minimal reporter. I think it's called minimal. That looks promising. Yeah. That looks pretty good. And the reason I wanted the minimal reporter is I really just want, I only want the build to tell me when things fail. If everything's okay, then I don't need to know the details. So, but just out of curiosity, let's put that back and see what it looks like. Yeah, I don't need to see every single test run by. Okay. So we've got Node Unit up and running. Let's go ahead and actually have it talk to the server. So, such as it is. So to do that, we need to make the server an export. Let's test drive this. So we'll write a failing test. Let's start out with, let's assert that 3 equals 3. And test that. That's okay. Then we'll say we expect 3 to equal 4. Good. It says expected 4 to equal 3. Don't really like that assertion message, but it'll do. Is that because of the reporter? No. Oh, it actually is. Yeah, it doesn't give us the assertion message when we're using the minimal reporter. Well, I guess we'll have to use the standard one for now. I suppose we could write our own reporter if we wanted to. Don't really want to do that, though. Okay, so we've got a simple little test here. Let's require the server and export a function that returns a number. And let's see what happens when we run that. Okay, so it's telling us that there's no method number, so that's good. So now we can make one. And now it's just giving us a useless error message. Let's return 0. Still giving us a useless error message. Let's return the correct number and see what happens. Okay, that's working. But those assert messages are really not very helpful. So if we return 4, oh, now it's giving us a proper error message. I wonder what I was doing wrong before. Huh. I guess it's doing some sort of check under the scenes to see if this is truthy, which is to say that it's a non-zero and it's defined and so forth. And then if it is falsy, if it's not defined, or a zero, if it's a zero, then it's not giving us the full assertion message, which is not a great assertion message to begin with. But there we go. So that's our first test-driven error message, or our first test-driven method. Fairly useless. So that's Node Unit. We've got Node Unit up and running. Not totally done here, but that's a start. So what should we do next? Well, we talked about abstracting it. I really don't know if that's a good idea. Abstracting this framework out could potentially have us writing a lot of code, and that seems like it might be kind of dumb. It's always a bad idea. You know, whenever you've got not invented here syndrome, it's a good time to sort of stop and step back and say, what are you thinking? Now, I'm not actually proposing to write my own testing framework, but what I am saying is that I might want to write my own wrapper around a testing framework. And the main problem with that is that how do we run it? That could get a bit tricky, and we also have to do all of our assertions and so forth. I'm not sure about this. Might be interesting to switch over to Mocha and see if we like that one better. Before I do that, though, let's see about using the built-in Node assertion framework and see if we like that any better. Okay, that's working. And if we return a 0 here, same assertion, same kind of useless assertion message. All right. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Next time, we will continue investigating testing frameworks and see if we want to do that abstraction or not. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will catch you next time.